The much more emotionally connected we feel to a product, a service, a person, or a cause, the much more likely we are to share. The more emotion we feel, the more likely we'll be to pass it on. And I want us to think here about focusing on the feelings rather than the function. Too often in business, we say, here's what my product does. Here's what my service offers. Here are the functional benefits that I can provide. But we think a lot less about the feelings that product or service might evoke, why someone might be using that thing. And you might think that emotion can only be used for certain types of goods, certain things that are already emotional. We can use emotion for any product or service, even B2B things that seem quite complex. When we think about Google, we don't think about emotion. Google is all about PageRank algorithms and search engine marketing, not a very emotional organization. Google uses emotion in almost every campaign they do. They wanted to showcase the features of online search. You can look up flights, you can translate languages, you can use maps. All of these things were features that they wanted to talk about. And they thought that one option to do that was just to introduce each feature. But instead, they told an emotional story. And millions of people shared this emotional story. They realized the human element is quite important. To get something to catch on, it's not enough to talk about the function. We have to talk about the feelings. We have to find what's called the emotional core. We need to ask what I'll call the 3 whys. Why is someone using your product or service? Why does someone use Google? People use Google to find information. But too many times we stop there. We need to ask why again. Why do they care about finding information? Well, they want to connect with loved ones and live happier lives. Ask why a couple times, you get to a much more emotional core. It focuses on benefits, not features.